Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the third installment of this exploration of sin. In this video, I will be talking about the sin of envy. As I titled it, The Fire of Envy, which can also be conceived as a bottomless pit to hell. And I would argue that one of life's most tragic things is losing sight of all the blessings one has, irrespective of what that may be. Yes, we can always have more. And when we compare ourselves to others, there will always be something we can identify that we may not have. But that is the essence of surpassing the clutches of our desires and focusing on worldly gains. Envy can take us to the depths of the underground and allow us to lose everything. We live in a time of human existence where things have never been better, where we are no longer exposed to deadly illnesses. We have access to technology and information at our fingertips, and we can order food and have it delivered right to our doorstep. Yet, somehow, people in the developed world still experience depression. And I'm extremely fascinated to hear people report their source of depression and understand what the root cause is. I try my best to remain open and compassionate to people's experiences because there was a time when I fell into the despair of apathy as well. But there's a deeper darkness to envy, which goes beyond depression. With envy, there's a sense of wanting another person's qualities and achievements, skills, and possessions, which can often lead to resentment. Interestingly enough, the focus is on the result while discounting the effort needed to achieve the achievements or skills, hence the resentment. Aristotle also defined envy as pain, as seeing another's good fortune. In one of the oldest narratives from the biblical book of Genesis, Cain is envious of his brother Abel for being in favor of God. Cain cannot reconcile why his sacrifices are not recognized while his brothers are. In this deep sense of envy and resentment, he ends up killing his brother. This narrative has become quite prevalent in society today, where people want the same achievements as others without putting in the work. In the Cain and Abel parable, the issue was with the quality of Cain's sacrifices and the intent, and rather than looking at himself, he blamed everyone else. This pervasion of envy has led to a victim mindset that has become sickening and has led to the virtue signaling we see constantly around us. From a mental health perspective, several studies have correlated envy to many adverse impacts. The Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology, and you can find the reference to that at in the description, found that envy can erode one's self-esteem and lead to feelings of inadequacy. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology highlights that individuals who experience envy report lower satisfaction and are more likely to engage in self-destructive behaviors. Envy does not only invoke depression, it can also cause anxiety around fear of failure and concerns about one's social status, as demonstrated in a study published in Personality and Individual Differences. So all these studies are linked in the description, and as they point out, it's captured in the Cain and Abel parable as well. Envy can also lead to malicious actions such as aggression towards other people, and that is documented in a study published in Emotion. The downside of envy has been captured throughout history from a philosophical, theological, and psychological perspective. There's no denying the impact envy can have on society. We see this firsthand in the social system we're all part of and the cultural galvanization that's happening. So, what is the antidote to all of this? Like ancient philosophy, the Islamic tradition warns against envy from the beginning of time. The story of Iblis and how his envy towards God's creation is something I have also captured previously. But the message is clear. Envy can lead one out of paradise because they lose sight of the blessings they already have. And this has also been captured in Surah An-Nisa, which is the fourth surah of the Quran. I've made reference to it as well. So I will recite the English translation of verses 52 to 55 to highlight the point here. It is they who have been condemned by Allah, and whoever is condemned by Allah will have no helper. Do they have control over shares of the kingdom? If so, they would not have given anyone so much as the speck on a date stone. Or do they envy the people for Allah's bounties? Indeed, we have given the descendants of Abraham the book and wisdom, along with great authority. Yet some believed in him while others turned away from him. Hell is sufficient as a torment. The maliciousness of envy is also captured in the Quran in the story of Prophet Joseph salam, and how his brothers responded to the relationship he had with his father, Prophet Jacob salam. So in Surah Yusuf, which is the 12th surah of the Quran, again, I will read out the English translation from verses 7 to 10. Indeed, in the story of Joseph and his brothers, there are lessons for all who ask. Remember when they said to one another, "Surely Joseph and his brother Benjamin are more beloved to our father than we, even though we are a group of so many. Indeed, our father is clearly mistaken. Kill Joseph or cast him out to some distant land so that our father's attention will only be ours. Then after that you may repent and become righteous people." One of them said, "Do not kill Joseph. But if you must do something, throw him in the bottom of a well so perhaps he may be picked up by some travelers." Envy is part of the human condition, and it has been demonstrated throughout history and even in theology to warn us and remind us what happens when we succumb to our desire for envy and what we are capable of. When we see today is a manifestation of envy consuming our society and world through hate and bitterness. To conclude, I would like to share a hadith from Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, from Sahih al-Bukhari, so this is 6066, that demonstrates so much wisdom, but also a warning to all of humanity. Beware of envy, for it devours good deeds just as fire devours wood or grass. Thank you again for tuning in to this third installment or third volume of the exploration of sin. I will continue with this series. There's 3 more left, so appreciate your support.